Hello guys, today we are going to talk about multiplying polynomials. So we're going to be using the distributive property a lot today, but we're going to start out first just by practicing multiplying a monomial times a monomial, which means one term times another term. Okay, so when we do this, we're multiplying, so it's important you remember to multiply the coefficients. 3 times 6 is 18. When we multiply x squared times x to the x squared times x to the third power, and then we're going to have y times y to the seventh power. So you would end up with 18x to the rule is when you multiply, you add the exponents, so x to the fifth power, and y would be to the eighth power. Okay? So again, start out with the coefficient, which is the number before the variables. -2 times 1/2 is going to give you -1. Since we don't write a coefficient of -1, we'll just put a negative there. A times a squared would be a to the third power, because our rule is we add the exponents when we're multiplying. And then b would be to the second power, okay? And then c would be to the third power. That would be our answer. All right, for number 3, 4 times 7 is 28. X to the third times x to the fourth would be x to the seventh. Y to the fifth times y to the y squared would be y to the seventh, because 5 plus 2 is 7. And then we would just have our z. Okay, so that's how we're going to start, and this will lead us into distributing. Okay, so now we've got a binomial, and this is where we're going to distribute. So we're going to take a times our a plus a times our b, our 8 rather. So sometimes I draw the lines, and sometimes I kind of write it out. So a times a is a squared, and a times 8 is 8a. We always like to put our coefficient first before the variable. All right. With number 5, I'm going to multiply 3x times x, and then I'm going to take 3x times -3. So we'll get a 3x squared minus 9x. All right, 4x to the third, 4x squared is going to be multiplied by 3x squared. All right, plus a 4x squared is going to be multiplied by -1. So this would be 12x to the fourth minus 4x squared. Okay, we'll take the -5y squared and multiply it by the 7y, and then the -5y squared will be multiplied by the -8y squared. Okay, so we get -35y to the third power plus 40, and y would be to the fourth. Okay, since you want to write your polynomial with the highest degree going down, I'm going to rearrange this. 40y to the fourth minus 35y to the third. Okay, they are equivalent. All right, draw a little line here. But number 8, we're going to distribute. We'll get 4x squared y minus 6xy squared. And we're done. Okay. Number 9, I like to actually bring the -x to the other side. Okay, and then it makes it easier to distribute for me. So when I do that, I get -3x to the third power plus 4x squared. Okay. Now we're going to take a monomial and we'll multiply by a trinomial, meaning 3 terms. And it works the same way. You just distribute. So when we did number 10, we would get x to the fourth plus x to the third plus x squared. Okay, all we're doing is distributing. Okay, number 11, we get -12x to the fifth minus 32x to the fourth plus 36x to the third. All right, number 12, 5y times y squared would be 5y to the third power minus 15y squared plus 5y. Okay, now we're going to distribute a 5b to 4b to the third, and that would give us 20b to the fourth minus 30b to the third minus 30b. Okay, and that would be our final answer. 14, when we distribute, and at any point I highly recommend you pause the video and then you just try a few problems and see how you did. This would be a -10x to the third y minus 12x squared y squared. So let's erase that's a little messy, x squared, and it would be y squared. Okay, and then minus 2xy to the third. All right, so all we did was distribute that negative 2xy. Okay, with 15, we're going to bring the negative 3x squared, okay, to the front. 3x to the fourth minus 5x squared minus 4. Now we're going to distribute. We'll get negative 9x to the sixth power plus 15x to the fourth power, okay, plus 12x squared. Okay. All right, so now we want to actually take a binomial times a trinomial. Okay, how we're going to break up the binomial is we're going to actually take the first term in the binomial, 2x, and we're going to multiply it by the trinomial. Okay, and then we're going to take the second term, which in this case is 1, and we're going to multiply it, okay, by the trinomial. All right, so that's our first step. Now we're going to distribute, okay, this would be 6x to the third plus 8x squared minus 4x. All right, so I just distributed that 2x. Now I'm going to distribute my 1, but 1 times anything is the same, so we get plus 3x squared plus 4x minus 2. Okay, now this is new. Now we're going to have to combine our like terms, okay, just like what we did in class last class. We started the highest degree, which is going to be 6x to the third power. And we're going to take our 8x squared and our 3x squared and combine them, and we get 11x squared. Now our negative 4x and positive 4x cancel out, so we just have the constant left, which is a negative 2. Okay, so that's our first example on that one. All right, number 17, when we do the same thing, we take our 5y and we distribute it to 2y squared minus 3y plus 4. And then I'm going to run out of space, but I'm going to then do negative 7 times 2y squared minus 3y plus 4. Okay, all right, so when we do that, we multiply straight across, we get 10y, we're distributing to the third, minus 15y squared plus 20y minus 14y squared plus 21y, okay, minus 28. Okay, we now combine our like terms, highest degree, so we've got 10y to the third. Okay, so it's going to be 10y to the third. Let's combine the negative 15y squared and the negative 14y squared, and we get negative 29y squared. All right, and then we have our, whoops, I forgot my y there, our 20y and 21y, so we're going to get a, we should get a 41y. Okay, and then we have the minus 28. Okay, get some extra stuff on the screen. So that's a, all right, so that's going to be plus 41y, and it's minus 28. Okay. All right, so for purposes of time, I'm just going to do a couple more. Okay, now again, I'm going to switch the order and bring the 3x minus 1 to the front. Okay, you don't have to do that. It makes it easier for me to keep myself organized. 3x is going to be multiplied by 2x squared minus x minus 2. And then we've got minus 1 times 2x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, we distribute 6x to the third minus 3x squared minus 6x minus 2x squared plus x plus 2. Okay, so once we get there, we combine our like terms. All right, 6x to the third, nothing to combine it with. But we've got a negative 5x squared. Now we've got a negative 6 plus an x, which would give us a negative 5x, and then the constant of 2. All right, same with 19. We break it apart. We take negative 4y, and we multiply it by 2y to the third plus 5y minus 2. And then we take our negative 8, and we do the same thing, 2y to the third plus 5y minus 2. We distribute it. We get our negative 8y to the fourth power minus, oops, didn't write it. It's not liking me. Oops, There it goes. Oh, it's acting kind of funky today. All right, I think this is telling me it's going to be our last example. All right, negative 8y to the 4th power. There we go. 8y to the 4th minus, okay, 20y squared minus plus 8y minus 16y to the 3rd minus 40y plus 16. Okay, now when we combine our like terms, we end up with negative 8y to the 4th. All right, we got our negative 16y to the 3rd and our negative 20y to the 2nd. We can combine our y squared. Nope, we can't combine anything with that, but we can do 8y and negative 40y. So we get negative 32y plus 16. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pause right now for the video. The answer key for the other two are online, so you can go practice them and then compare them to your answers online. All right. I hope you have a good day. Bye.